Wisconsin governor's race, and that is still hanging over it as Francesa Hong, the Democratic Socialist candidate, is still answering questions about that social media post from several years ago about wanting to cancel Thanksgiving. This is what she said about it now.
I had some bad takes and some hot takes on Twitter, but like all everyday Wisconsinites, I had to express my frustrations that the system wasn't working for us.
And there are several examples of things that she has had to walk back, take back, backpedal on, including defunding the police, abolishing the U.S. Senate, and yes, even saying that Halloween should also be canceled. Now, these aren't the major issues driving this governor's race, but voters are talking about them, and many don't like what they heard.
It's ridiculous. I don't know what she was thinking about that.
Now, other supporters of Hong say that she was misunderstood, and it's fine for candidates to change their minds.
Is there any politician on the planet that hasn't made a stance on something and then realized that maybe that was a bit extreme and I have to back up and understand how the voter population is feeling?
It would be a sad person if you just had your ideas at 18 and you kept them all till the day you died. I mean, certainly as you get older and experience more things, see things.
Wisconsinites are my favorite people, by the way. Like everyone I met, I mean, some of these people are, attacking Hong or whatever because they're trying to create a narrative here that like her tweets are really top of mind for these voters. But Wisconsin has some of the best, some of the coolest white people. Let's just say.
I mean, Wisconsin has like a really great, like obviously great radical history, but it is like a very, to me, it's definitely like, it's a state that like when you're in the right crowds or with the right people, like when I've been in Milwaukee or Madison, it feels like one of the most like pro-social places.
Yes.
Yes. Like people 100%. Are like, I mean, that's one of the, like a lot of the Midwest does not feel like that. It feels the opposite, but I often feel like the coolest moments that I had in the Midwest.
The only other place I felt like that is Minneapolis.
Minneapolis definitely like that,
and like Minnesota's like that. Wisconsin's like that. I think Michigan to a certain degree is like that for sure. Like Illinois, Chicago gets into like real city territory, and I feel like city folk is a little different.
It's a real city, but like I don't know. I love Chicago. You'll never well no, but I mean like I feel like it's also like it's a city that has like a. That does have a bit of that. Like it's got some of that. I don't know. Like so, but it leads, happy to see you. Je ne sais quoi.
It leads me to ask a question: what the happened to like Indiana? What the happened to Iowa and Indiana? If like all these other places are so a certain way.
It's a good question. I mean, I have no like. I'm sure there's a bunch of actual good answers to that question. I don't have them.
Yeah.
You take different positions and you regret some of the stuff you did.
Now, Hong's leading opponent is David Crowley. He's the Milwaukee County executive. He told us this about Thanksgiving.
I love Thanksgiving.
Bro, come on.
Sorry, today in questions we are asking a second grader.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, candidate, your thoughts about Thanksgiving.
I can't do this. I can't do this. Socialist push faces major twist.
Bro. that was so good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then we sit around and wonder why people don't tune into mainstream outlets anymore. And it's like, this is why, dude. You guys don't give a shit about anything. Like, people are ready to start doing illegal things and are doing illegal things to flock cameras. They want to start doing illegal things to data centers. And you guys are out here being like, I wonder why the pro data center candidate is not actually gaining momentum as opposed to the anti-data center candidate who's made it a central fixture of her campaign is doing LeBron numbers.
And you know what I will say? I do think what I find very interesting, right, is that like I think the media is actually kind of lagging behind a lot of some of the other parts of the establishment political base here. Like, I think I see a lot of the people in the think tanks that are attached to the AI industry and attached to a lot of the, sort of foundations that are interested in studying from a pretty industry sympathetic perspective, like how to do build outs that can accommodate the data center stuff. And like, those people are freaking out about this data center backlash, and they're not underestimating what Francesa Hong represents or anything.
Yeah. That's why they're
taking it quite seriously. And I think it is like, it just shows how bad our media is, that they're not even picking up on the gravity that people are associating these campaigns with. They're instead just arguing about Thanksgiving because, again, it is their only way of processing and understanding like like what an election is, which is just a relative question of competitiveness. It's not like an evaluation of what like motivates how people engage with an election, what people participating in the election consider the stakes of it to be. It's like literally they're asking some guy, so is the guy who doesn't have a statistical shot at winning this election more electable or not? What do you say, Mr. Voter?
But they did it. They did this with Haley Stevens, and it fucking worked to a certain degree to get her up there. So I do worry. I do worry a lot.
No,
I
it
do
did to
worry
a point.
a lot.
It did to a point, but like it wasn't the only thing. And I also think that like that was a case also where like I think the polls really clearly shaped a lot of the narrative making that was going on there, which is why the Noah Kulwin rule is no polls.
Hong's policy positions, the ones that she thinks aren't a good or a bad take, we don't know. The Wall Street Journal's lead editorial today, though, Francesa Hong, the socialist next hope. It argues even a fraction of her agenda would be ruinous. That's what the GOP's presumptive gubernatorial nominee, Representative Tom Tiffany, is saying. And that's what he'll tell voters if their other option is in November, and it's Ms. Hong. And he would be correct about that. What an opening for Republicans after 2 terms of Governor Tony Evers. Power panel now. Cassie Smedley, Republican strategist. Megan Hayes, former director of message planning for the Biden administration. Great to see.
It's so 2 anti-Hong politicians.
I mean, but this is fine, bro. I mean, I'm sorry.
This
is I'm not. The other people I'll like get a little more head up over, but like this is a little like water be wet, dude. It's Fox News. They're not gonna have on.
Yeah, Fox News quoting another Murdoch-owned outlet, Wall Street Journal, to complain about radical socialist Francesa Hong. They always sneak your name in all these segments, of course, because that's like because look, whether Francesa Hong wins or not. Like, of course, they would love to make her lose in the primary so they don't have to deal with it in the general. But I'm not going away. So that's the reason why they have to keep peppering these attacks in every conversation they can, because this movement is not going away. And this movement, they understand something that many others, unfortunately, in the edges, in the liberal side,
also,
that are
like they're just mad that she's good at speaking to the people that want to support her. Sorry, that's like a lot of the like what I get irritated with about the Hong stuff is that it's like, I mean, one, I do think I agree with my friend Jay Kang. I do think a lot of it is frankly racist, and just like that's like all the faculty lounge stuff is like I with her specifically, I find to have an edge that I don't love because it's like like why are they racing to assume that this candidate is a books person but not a service industry person? I think we know the answer there. Yeah. But it is also like they're just completely discounting from the jump like what it is that people do see in her that is not tied to the environmental component, the structural components of this, right? And it is like like why do they view her as like a credible avatar for a bunch of these ideas? And that matters, and they're just not considering it at all.
I just don't understand why these guys also do the same thing that they do to China, where it's like, even if you hate China, it's probably important for you to understand like what the fuck's going on there. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's going to catch you by surprise, as it kind of has. Like China's rise as a global behemoth has like caught many Western analysts by surprise. Many of those who like wrote extensive foreign policy mag articles about how like they were building ghost cities and shit like that are now going, how do we get here? Why do they have so many tier 1 cities that are like, massive?
Well, yeah, they believed that we just believed that they would always be better at quantity but never at quality. And
but I don't get
shocker,
it. Shocker,
that wasn't going to last.
At this point, even if your goal is to defeat China somehow in this war that we're waging against them, then like you should probably try to do a better job of like understanding what their ideology is, what motivates them, how they operate, rather than just like consistently hit the same notes over and over again. Not dissimilar to the argument that I was presenting with the anti-Zionist movement growing, and like how Zionists are still deploying the same techniques of like not trying to understand where people are coming from and assuming that the animus driving this counter narrative against Israel is of course by it's an incredibly
it's because they're like what these people share in common, right? Like anti-Zionists or China hawk, or sorry, not anti-Zionists. I've been making that mistake lately. Zionists and China hawks is that they're both like hardcore idealists. Like they believe in like they have like these idealized notions and they act according to those notions. And they don't really give a fuck about empirical reality. They don't really have like much of a connection to it, frankly. And like that satisfies their needs. You know, it allows for, you know, you can stockpile missiles all you want. You can spend money on, you know, new submarines that are meant to counter hypothetical Chinese actions 50 years out or whatever. Like, you can do all that stuff. You can invest in those things and not invest in other things. And so you give yourself, I mean, it's idealism like of that kind is a kind of alibi. It becomes the way that you understand doing that you do certain things so that you know, you can get away with, I mean, is the way you and I think see it, is that they can get away with self-enrichment and self-dealing, and they can acquire more power, all the while telling themselves that, you know, they're doing something else.
Yeah.
You know, Cassie, I'm going to start with you because you've got Tiffany about ready to take the stage. You've got former Governor of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin, going to talk with him. Tee up this race for us.
Yeah, good morning to you both. I just got off the plane from northern Wisconsin. I spent the weekend with my in-laws up in Chippewa Falls, which is the northwest side of the state bordering with Minnesota. And this is all you heard about this weekend. Francesa Hong was essentially on an apology tour, trying to spend the final days of this primary to reset the record for herself from these problematic positions she's taken about canceling Thanksgiving, abolishing the Senate, abolishing the police, etc. And then you had Tom Tiffany, who was essentially on offense, running his campaign, talking about I-94 expansion, talking about higher ed, talking about...
Interesting. Why is the Republican candidate so invested in the Democratic primary? And why is the Republican candidate attacking the quote-unquote weaker candidate for the general? That's interesting. This is the Republican strategist who is attacking Francesa Hong and saying that the supposedly weaker general candidate, Francesa Hong, is interestingly enough, all of the enmity is directed at the supposedly weaker general election candidate. If Republican strategists thought that Francesa Hong was easier to beat, they would probably be hyping her up, right?
Well, but this gets to the fact that there are obviously certain advantages that like a more centrist inclined candidate will have in a general election. It's just a fact. There are certain advantages that they get, right? But like there's certain disadvantages that come through people getting through a primary process without having, you know, motivated voters, without having like a particularly credible or, you know, like defensible, legible platform. You know, there's a bunch of reasons that have more to do with, again, than just like a kind of like rank left to right ideology thing that have to do with this. And again, the biggest part of this is like, okay, who is going to be better positioned to win on the issues that seem to matter most to people who are at the ballot box in a few months? And it's like Francesa Hong, it turns out, despite of all of the quote unquote concerns about her or whatever, like she's making it through this primary process because she is able to, at least for now, present more competitively on that level. And yeah, obviously, like if the Republicans really believed all this shit, then why would they be like, why, if they really believe that she was so beat, why would they say this? I think the other thing I will say is like, you know, when it comes to this stuff of like, the Republicans would freaking love to run against this, you know, Democratic Socialist. Like, okay, I remember the Jonathan Chait and Ira Tandon. We would love to run against Donald Trump in 2016. If only we could run against Donald Trump in 2016 stuff. Okay. Just from all perspective, from all sides, like, just don't say that stuff. Like I'm saying, even to my allies, like, don't say that stuff. You will get your ass, like, you will get exposed for it at some point. The point will not work out for you. It's in some way. Like, electability is just so often, right? Like, just make the argument on the merits of your candidate and why you think they're a good fit. Like this stuff of like trying to pick the perfect opponent is not always going to work for you. It won't. Like, you know, I still think in some ways, like, we've never gotten the full explanation right of AIPAC and the NJ11 and trying to go against Malinowski. Like, that's still not clear. Like, you know, it just doesn't seem that, like, when you play these games that you necessarily end up getting what you want.
Yeah.
The economy and making sure that Wisconsinites have the opportunity to live the lives they want to live for them and their families. A real contrast, and certainly for Francesa Hong, not how you want to be spending these final days. And oh, by the way, as Alex laid out, the sitting governor is campaigning with the guy who got out of the race. He dropped out already, and he's no, we need you back in because I don't believe this lady is electable in November. It's a real quagmire for Democrats.
Well, I know we keep talking about Thanksgiving, but the real headline from last week was her quote-unquote proximity to whiteness. She made it all about race, using her own biracial children. All right, Francesa Hong has not gotten endorsements from some of the socialist big guns like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who seems to be trying to distance herself a bit.
I haven't endorsed in that race. My focus has been in winning back the Congress. My understanding is that that Francesa Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate.
Yeah, she's moved away from a lot of that.
Right, she's moved away from it. And I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Woke one was crazy. So we're in chapter 2 now. It sounds crazy too. AOC has, however, endorsed Socialist Senate candidate in Michigan, Abdul El Sayed, whose policies exactly align with those of Francesa Hong. Here's Hong with Hasan Piker. Take a watch.
Abolishing ICE.
Yes.
A 1-year data center moratorium.
Yes.
Breaking up Big Ag.
Yes.
Public grocery stores.
Yes.
Right to. I love when they show this because this is banger. This is like
this. Sorry, this is like you're now asking her to like give yes to all the stuff that polls get.
Yeah.
Showing it like
no, literally. I don't know why they don't realize that. It's so strange because, like, I guess they're so hugbox that they genuinely think that this actually is the reason why she's popular, and it turns into a free ad. Even for some of the Fox News watchers.
Oh no, they hate
the data centers. They hate Big Ag. They want to write to
one
repair.
of the scariest days for Fox News was the Bernie town hall years ago. Like when, like the crowd pop that Bernie was getting at a Fox News event.
Yeah,
it's tough, man. Like the Fox people have to be very careful about how they package this stuff, and sometimes they fuck up. Like I think this is clipping this like this is a fuck up. I think.
Pair.
Yes.
Legalizing cannabis.
Yes.
Overturning Citizens United.
Yes.
A workers' bill of rights.
Yes.
A free Palestine.
Yes.
So that anti-American streamer that you just saw, Hasan Piker, who's by everybody's side right now on the far left.
It's not funny.
That is mad funny.
It's not funny.
It's really funny.
She's clocking my shit.
Anti-American streamer that you just saw, Hasan Piker, who's by everybody's side right now.
Dude, I
on the
love
far,
this.
far
The way
left
that they got the scroll going, like it's a now that's what I call music. Like some of your favorite pop hits.
Yeah, tax millionaires and billionaires more. Close corporate tax loopholes. Like half of this shit is like what Trump lied
No
about.
Scrubs by
half
TLC.
Of this shit is literally what Trump lied about doing, including closed corporate tax loopholes or the carried interest loopholes.
This is the litmus test for what it takes to run as a Democrat socialist, apparently, and she's taken that test.
Like strengthen antitrust enforcement. Why are they posting this? Regulate artificial intelligence.
Awesome. Protect workers from harmful uses of AI.
And yes, there's a lot more. A lot more. They share all these radical left policy positions. This is pretty unbelievable. Megan, we have gone a distance
to write the peaceful
I'm sorry.
protest.
I think this actually might be a okay. I almost don't want to say this because I think I may.
They're hyping her up.
No. I don't want to say this because I don't want to risk exposing our undercover king. But I actually think that this is the work of somebody who works at Fox News who understands exactly what they are doing. You know what I mean?
We were even a few weeks ago. Your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, again, she's not a Democrat. She should not be winning the primary. She shouldn't be.
You think Sorry, that one is awesome. Saving the one for last that every Fox News person is just like, if they saw that, they like.
No, there's no way. I don't think they see it. I don't think they are looking at the you're right. I think there's a producer that's just like, I'm going to put this in here. Let's see how far we can go with this.
We see you.
King.
Keep it up.
There's a king that's working.
Winning the primary, she shouldn't be running on the Democratic ticket. And I would hope that the other, her opponent actually does win. And we saw last week in Michigan that polls don't always tell a complete story.
Excuse me, Megan, but if she's not a Democrat socialist, what is she? If she's not a Democrat. I mean, and by the way, Bernie Sanders was an independent since 1990, and he ran for the Democrat nomination.
My favorite is they're so used to saying Democrat instead of Democratic that they say Democrat socialist.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah, no, they always say these are Democrat socialists. It's my favorite.
This is like one of these things too, where it's like how like Trump just like completely like controls their brain now. Like they all have to, like
the little Trumpisms, little quirky ways
and
of
caucus
speaking.
with Democrats. So, what is your description of Francesa Hong? Is she not part of your party?
She absolutely is not part of our party. Democrats.
I have some news for you. I have some news for you, lady.
It's just such a sad state of affairs.
You're going to want to sit down for this.
It's a sad state of affairs for a lot of these Democratic consultants that like we are literally more the party than she is. And I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what the problem is. Because like she represents Aetna and Blue Cross Blue Shield, where we represent the actual voters. So much so that in spite of the barrage of money that they dump into these races, the voters still actually overcome all of those smears and still go and vote for the insurgent left candidates.
I mean, you know, like these things come and go the other way, etc. What I just find like, you know, I can easily imagine a world in which, you know, like, you know, again, these tables turn. Like, you know, our side may have less sway within the Democratic Party at some point. It's, you know, these big wheel keep on turning, whatever. The thing is like, I can't understand the hubris here. Like, to say, like, could you imagine any left winger, right, in this moment saying, like, seriously, like, you're saying, like, the party represents her less. You're not saying, oh, you're not in the party, you're not part of this. Like, there's not like a, like, there's there's a recognition that you.
I do say that for people who actually lend their support to the Republicans, like that Mike LaRosa.
Yeah, the guy who like was essentially pushed out of his job in the Biden world for being. There's a daily Google Michael was it LaRosa?
LaRosa.
Michael LaRosa. Michael LaRosa. Daily Mail. There's a story that has the details on what went down with him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was illegal to.
I'm sorry. It's illegal to be cool.
Yeah,
it's illegal to be a cool guy on a work trip and bringing back people that I want to hook up with to the
Secret Service,
to a Secret Service protected floor where members of the first family is staying. Ooh,
yeah,
that's a problem now.
I didn't realize.
And now I work for Ballard Partners, which literally has contracts to represent Libyan warlords and
the Trump administration. I think, right?
Well, not that. Well, you don't lobby. You can't represent the Trump administration, but I think he's representing the UAE or Saudi.
Oh.
I forget which, but you get the idea. No, but like the like I don't think the point is that like I just don't think
representing the Trump administration.
Like, I don't know a single like DSA person who just like doesn't subscribe to like the reality principle that these people are clearly rejecting.
Yeah.
Live in a free market society. Nobody in the Democratic Party with any
El
sense
Sayed is not in your party either.
No, El Sayed actually doesn't associate with being a socialist. He has some far left policies, but he actually does say he's a capitalist. So that is a Democratic stance. So there's a little bit of a difference here. But I do think if Hong does win the nomination, we have a better chance of winning the governor's race in Texas than we do in Wisconsin.
Well, I'm confused about why you think El Sayed is a capitalist. I mean, he's got some of the same policies that Mom, because
Wait,
he
what'd
said
she say?
Well,
because he said it.
Oh, because he said it.
He says she loves Thanksgiving, but she's also anti-American.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Can you trust these brown people, these non-whites, and the things that they say about Thanksgiving, and also whether they're a socialist or not?
Come on.
Can you even trust them, really?
Bro, I'm so tired. Like, we're going to be hearing about this Thanksgiving shit for forever. And it's not for just, I want to be clear. Like, this is so not her fault. Like, she did, like, vindicated. Like, she's doing fine. This is like, I feel
shit
so.
about to make me say cancel Thanksgiving.
I mean, seriously, dude. Now, like, my, any feelings of, like, oppositional defiance that I have are just, like, kicking in. I just want to be, like, we are doing, like, at this point, I want people, like.
You know how, like, with Zoran, they wouldn't invite him to the 9/11 memorial, or they're trying to get him to
Yeah.
They're going to be like, Wisconsin is holding a Thanksgiving turkey dinner, and Francesa Hong is not invited.
They're gonna do something even dumber, where it's like, we asked for Thanksgiving turkeys, and they don't want Francesa Hong at their dinners. Like, I'm calling my shot on that one. Somebody's gonna do a version of that.
Yeah,
love it. I mean, when does it count when you say it? It doesn't make it true. You got to show us through your policies, and he's aligned with Mom Donnie, which is all day long taking from the rich to spend on whatever he wants to spend it on, whether it helps the people or not. At least that's what it looks like if you live in New York right now. Cassie?
Well, but I think this gets to a larger point. What Megan is saying, if they're not Democrats, and if the majority of Democrat voters are saying, I don't identify with these far-left candidates, then the problem for not just DSA, but for Democrats is winning in November. what do? You've allowed your party to be totally co-opted by these people to run on your ticket, and you're not giving people an option because the Democrat Party nationally and writ large, in these state parties as well, was asleep at the wheel, didn't take them seriously. Mandami was an outlier. Colorado was an outlier. Al Sayed is an outlier. Now is Francesca Hong an outlier? This is the National Democrat Party this cycle. And so either they're going to win with a bunch of Democrat socialists and have to embrace them, or the Democrats are about to find themselves completely obsolete and completely taken over, and will they ever win a local, state, or national election ever again? It's a big issue.
Well, some headlines today are blaring the alarm over the rise of socialism in America. Viva la DSA, for Democrat Socialists of America. Revolution abolishing the Senate and presidency are only a few things on this list. Another socialism is here, and it is serious. As religion recedes, politics takes its place. One tenet of socialism, massive taxes on Americans, its leaders deemed wealthy. And one would think the co-chair of the Democrat Socialists of America would understand the assignment.
Pretty funny.
Watch this.
We do believe in taxing the hell out of millionaires. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what does taxing the hell out of them mean?
Yeah, you know, I don't have like
I'll
a
be right
solid,
back.
but I think.
But shouldn't you?
I
mean, if you're the
that's a good
co-chair,
question.
if you're the co-chair of the DSA, shouldn't you be more specific than just taxing the hell out of something?
I'm gonna keep it $150. David Remnick cooked her a little bit on this one. This is the only time where I would say this was a little bit of a, you know, Megan's great. I love her. I respect her. I think she's done a lot of great work. I just, you know, I wish she had an answer on the spot with that one.
What exactly do you mean?
So yeah, we need to look at what we need to pay for in the interim, what sort of tax base we need for that to happen, and then and build from there.
So Megan, we have to take.
Because here's the thing, this is not a friendly conversation. If you're DSA, none of these conversations that are taking place are friendly. You have to treat it like a hostile media interview, no matter what, even if they are being friendly. And David is friendly, broadly speaking. But he's doing that on purpose. He's doing that to create a false sense of security so we can get clips off like that. For sure. There's got to be like pre-canned responses for all of it.
Their word for it. We have to believe what they say according to you, but can you even make sense of that?
No, absolutely not. Again, these people are not Democrats. They should not be allowed to run on a Democratic ticket. And I agree with Cassie that the national party should have stepped in long ago.
What are you saying? Like, does more than half of the fucking voter base, is the plurality or the majority of the voter base? Like, what are you talking about? Who's we? How many votes have you won? Who the fuck is we? What elected position are you in? How many Democratic voters have voted for you or your platform? Because we can look at the numbers. It's the voters that are making these decisions. It's the Democratic voters that are making these decisions, and they like these candidates. That's why they're voting for them. It's very strange.
But we're in this situation and we have to figure out what we're going to do now. But again, these people have extreme policies that do not make sense. The governor is a different animal than, of course, people running for Senate. It's much harder to make laws when you are one of a body of 100 in the Senate, like Al Sayed. But the problem here is that she's running against
That's
someone.
why you all are arguing. I want to give
explain
Cassie the last 10 seconds before we have to go. Thank you, Megan. Cassie?
Listen, I don't envy Megan's position. I don't envy pragmatic Democrat voters' positions. But on the Republican side, there's an opportunity here that history tells us we should not have right now. And I hope that all of our candidates, I think we are, Tom Tiffany being a great example of one.
Oh, is it because your president sucks dog shit? Like it's his only source of substance? Why is it? Why does history show? Why does history show that the Republicans shouldn't have an opportunity here? Did I say substance? Sustenance. I apologize. I'm eating. How much longer until they start yelling at voters? This is a way to yell at the voters. Yelling at me is a way to yell at the voters.
Who's taking the issues head on, meeting with the voters, and not having to deal. And we would welcome the opportunity to debate the people like Francesca Hong and put these issues on a November ballot so that they can be settled once and for all.
That would be spicy if it happens that way. We'll be watching that primary tomorrow in Wisconsin. The big Dem stars are out. Democrat heavyweights rallying behind far-left Senate nominee Abdul El Sayed after he won the Michigan primary last week. And he was campaigning and going around with a guy who's got that toxic stream. Even so, El Sayed now is scrambling to distance himself from his friend, influencer Hasan Piker, who, among other toxic things, has said America deserved 9/11. El Sayed said he spoke with former President Obama after his Michigan primary victory. He said it was a really warm and inspiring conversation. The night before his victory, El Sayed was hanging out with Piker at the pool. Watch El Sayed play dodgeball here.
Do you plan to continue to campaign with Hasan Piker in the general election campaign?
Look, I'm less concerned now with who I'm campaigning with, a lot more concerned about who I'm campaigning to.
Do you disavow those comments that America deserved 9/11?
Of course. Of course it was a dumb statement. And of course, I think Hasan himself would say that was a dumb statement. He disavowed it. So yes, America didn't deserve 9/11.
Saying something is dumb does not even elevate your disavowing it to where it should be. It was cruel. It was thoughtless. And it could have been true. We still don't know.
Wait, what did they want him to do? Kill me? Yeah, clutch your pearls harder, Fox News. It's so funny because it's exactly the kind of statement that I would expect Trump to make and then Fox News to defend endlessly. Yeah, now that he disavowed the statement, they're like, he didn't disavow it hard enough. First they say he didn't disavow it, then they're saying he disavowed it, but not hard enough.
Senator John Fetterman thinks El Sayed's ties to Piker and his anti-Israel stance could cost his party a must-hold Michigan Senate seat. Watch.
I dare you to continue to campaign with people like Hasan Piker, because he now will quickly find out it's easy to campaign in the echo chamber as a Democrat, but when you have to convince other people or people that are open to voting on either side, you know, I think you're going to be interesting to see how he chooses to disavow or now pretend that he hasn't just said and done these things just through this entire campaign.
And as Fetterman says, just pretend.
Why was he wearing a suit? Was it Netanyahu in town?
I'm saying I dare you to campaign with Hasan Piker.
AOC, Kamala Harris. Now notice their names are being thrown into the pile for, well, they might run for president next time. So of course they have to cozy up to the guy who just won Michigan. Veteran strategist, or the primary there, veteran strategist James Carville, you'll notice is not on that list.
I think that the progressive left, they're very tech people. I think they've come up with an AI random stupid idea generator. And I think the stupid idea generator can think of things that humans can't, like canceling Thanksgiving or being against interracial dating. So I'm just waiting to the next stupid idea AI generator that comes out, spits out of that.
In focus with me now, Ben Ferguson, podcast host. Just want to get your top line thoughts.
Wait, what?
Yeah, look, I think what you're witnessing right now is the Democrats have created a mad laboratory for Marxism, and these are the candidates that are coming out of it, and these are the ideas that are coming out of it, and the test ground for this is the battleground states in places like Michigan and Wisconsin. But let's also be very clear. This all started back when Barack Obama was president. He bottle-fed these ideas. He bottle-fed these types of candidates. He created them and brought them into the tent. And when you have these now radical Marxists and communists and socialists who have taken over the Democratic Party, this was not an accident. This is where the Democratic Party has been going for a long time. When you have people that say that America deserved 9/11, that is not an accident. They believe it. When the Democratic Socialists of America say last week in an interview, they believe that Israel doesn't have a right to exist from the river to the sea.
I don't know if I can hear this
Hamas
guy.
and Hezbollah chant and what they say. This is now the Democratic Party. They created this, and they're endorsing it. They're advocating for it, and most importantly, Harris, they're now funding it with.
Like, the DSA's national platform has declared Estonia has no right to exist. Notice how that doesn't do anything for you. Maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe you have a special place in your heart for Estonia. But it's like so funny that these guys are just like, oh, I can't believe that's a DSA position.
Yeah, but again, I don't know, man.
Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, it's why is there like a video game we could be talking about? I mean, like, literally anything would be more
Millions and millions and millions of dollars.
You know, just moments ago, it was announced, and maybe it came out earlier, but now it's official that former President Barack Obama is going to have a new podcast. It's basically taking people through books that they don't have time to read, simultaneously with getting back out there. We know he had
I saw this list of Obama books, and some of them I don't care about, some of them I don't care about. A couple of books I do care about are on there. Specifically, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy by John le Carre. And everybody should read that book. Everybody has time to read that book. Everybody has time to read books. That was an incredibly condescending remark of hers. Everybody should read books. Thank you. Just, that annoyed me.
Nerd.
Like, why did reading catch a stray there? She was yelling at you. Stay yelling at Hasan. Why does reading?
What do you mean? She's speaking to her base. Well, they're illiterate.
That is fair.
90% of commentary on this dog shit ass platform is literally talking about how if you're learned, you're woke and gay, and you should kill yourself.
That is true, and people kind of forget that, like, that for a long time. I mean, now, like, this is part of what the culture war stuff obfuscates, because, like, you can launder being, like, stupid and hating learning through, like, resisting experts and questioning authority. Yeah. And, you know, like, hating going to the doctor is now, like, medical skepticism. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, no, you're just a lazy piece of shit and you didn't grow up. Anyway, I think of
messed up that you said that. It's called realistic vaccine scrutiny.
Well, I assume you also. I don't know. Did you talk about the vaccine news earlier?
The child vaccine.
Yeah, that bummed me out. Yeah, that bummed me out, man.
No, we just heard him deliver a speech after he JD Pondon struck once again to eradicate. To continue his permanent first world genocide.
It's also this thing of like, there's no, like, truly with this stuff, I do not understand it's for. I'll be honest. Like, I understood the, like, humoring the RFK Jr. stuff when you were running for office because of what he thought it gave him and everything. I just don't, like.
No, he doesn't have anything.
Like,
no,
who's the so it's just you're doing it for lack of doing anything else.
You don't have anything. So you.
I mean, great. Okay, sorry. That also said Trump does. He's never said it publicly because he's too pussy, perhaps. But like, there is clearly a like thing with Trump about vaccines and autism because of like because of the link between old guy sperm and whatever. Like he's got that same anxiety that other old men with young children have about vaccines and autism.
Yeah, he has said it. It's because he thinks that in the past he tweeted out that like you got to space the vaccines out. So technically the policy that he signed into law, he has actually advocated for. I do think it's funny though that's like, I think he genuinely cares about that, but also more importantly than that, he's just like, he knows his base is hemorrhaging. So he's trying to hold on to whatever he can. And this is probably one of the easiest ones to
was how El Sayed put it together over the weekend after El Sayed's win. What do you make of Obama in all of this? Does it matter? Does his endorsement matter?
Look, I think Obama's endorsement matters, and I think putting out there, quote, we had a warm conversation, tells you, wink, wink, nod, nod, I'm absolutely behind this guy. And
why would it matter? Isn't he a Muslim commie? I thought he sucked. It's just strange. This guy who sucks, his endorsement matters for the other guy who sucks?
Well, it's also telling the rest of the party, you better get in line. You have one thing that's also happening while we're seeing and witnessing the growth of this extremism, and that is the former leadership of the Democratic Party, the Chuck Schumers. They are paralyzed because they don't know what to do to stop this. And they realize no one's listening to them anymore. Barack Obama is pushing it this way. The Democrats fall in line. They're looking, by the way, at 2028. Let's be clear. This is a mad scientist laboratory for who they're going to put out there in 2028. If I made a prediction today, it is AOC.
This is a mad. I love these people, dude. Like, they commit new like crimes against.
They're illiterate.
Like, this is a mad scientist laboratory.
They're illiterate.
A mad scientist. What the fuck does that mean? It's a mad. It's a mad. Hasan. It's a mad scientist laboratory.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't know what you don't understand.
No, Hasan.
It's not Dexter. It's a mad.
Hasan, you don't understand. It's a mad scientist laboratory.
Yeah. They're making mad scientists in the laboratory.
I hate this, man.
Where do you think they make the mad scientists?
In a laboratory.
where they work on mad scientists, like in the invention of new mad scientists.
It is Chuck Schumer hoping she gets a nomination so maybe he can stay in charge as a figurehead for a little bit longer. Otherwise, she's probably going to primary Chuck Schumer. She says, oh, I'm just looking at Congress right now. No, she's not. The Democratic Socialists of America are saying we're coming for the entire country. We are winning and winning often now with the...
Again, shouldn't you be excited at this? Because they suck, right?
Well, yeah, this is their I mean, well, this is like, I mean, admittedly, this is like an age-old, like, reactionary, like, anxiety, right? Which is that, like, they're powerless, they're feckless, they can't deliver possibly on any of these, like, ridiculous dreams they have, but also they're a direct threat to our way of life, and our tolerance of them is a sign of weakness that we must suppress at all turns because we have to exterminate them.
But I don't understand, because it doesn't seem like they're it doesn't seem like they're confident they could defeat the socialists. Kind of feels like they're worried.
These types of candidates and ideas. And the message is also clear. We hate America. We think it's fundamentally flawed. We want to destroy what it is now. We hate Jews, by the way. You're not welcome either. We also believe America deserved 9/11. This is who they are. When they tell you this, believe them.
Look, you mentioned AOC. It's interesting because part of the far left, those Democrat socialists, they want to get, not part of it, part of their platform and the DSA platform is to get rid of the U.S. presidency. So what are you running for?
Yes.
I mean, it just sounds like a bunch of made up stuff. El Sayed, by the way, if you're keeping score, is sticking to his support for government-run socialized health care. Watch this.
Yeah, we don't have to live like this. We have an opportunity to guarantee cradle-to-grave health care.
Would you need to increase taxes?
As I've said across this campaign, I am for taxing billionaires their wealth.
You are effectively acknowledging that people making less than $1 million could see their taxes go up. I just want to be very clear. Is that a yes?
Damn it, I hate them so
I'm
much.
saying that we'd be paying for health care in a different way.
Less than $1 million, that number that a lot of people make a year.
But also, all she's doing is soundbite mining. Because he describes how...
No, it's about they just want to fish for the answer of, like, will you raise taxes on the middle class?
Yeah.
Like, that's what they want.
So they can hit, like... So they can hit that in attack ads. Like she's trying to farm an attack ad clip moment.
I mean,
and it's
I think
really annoying.
Well, listen, man. It's
like
only
it's clear
it's only Meet the Press. You know, the marquee interview program in NBC.
Yeah.
It's important that we not ask questions about the budget implications of something. It's important that we frame it like this incredibly.
No, this is after I listened to the interview. He very clearly describes that you pay so much in premiums right now, and
so this is actually just the farming clip because she did the substantive part, and now they're
she goes, okay,
that's even worse.
You've brought up the
that's
fact
shameless,
that
dude. That's even worse. I thought Abdul's campaign promise was more money in your pocket. This sounds like a lot like
more money for the
Like
government. I know it's complicated for you, Habibi. I'm happy to teach you how this works at our next debate if you're not too much of a coward to debate. Damn, 50K likes. Dude, his whole like Taylor Swift dancing, like everything that he does that I think is like cornball shit, I think plays so well for like the millennial moms and stuff.
What? Which part?
Him dancing to Taylor Swift, doing the Blues Clues shit, like even his like Roger.
I mean, look, like I think people underestimate the degree to which like charisma is like just not like a it's a thing that like not everybody has it. Sometimes it hits you and like because like look like right like if I'm Mallory McMorrow, I'm pissed because like I did the dancing ad and everybody made fun of me, and Abdul El Sayed dances and everybody likes him. And you could say that like there's probably something that's fair to be said about like men and women and representations of them in media and misogyny, sure. But I think we have to, if we're being honest, right? Like we know that it's because like Abdul Sayed, he's a charismatic guy. He kind of exudes it. It's natural for him. It doesn't look forced. He like sells it. And not everybody sells it. And that's okay. There are people on the other side of the aisle who unbelievably, like, in fact, there's some people like our president who in the act of how little he tries to sell anything is like his own kind of authenticity that people relate to. That's a kind of charisma too. And that's not taught. So it's like to me that's part of the like Abdul magic in that situation, or like that piece of it, right? Is that like it's not just that like he's corny or whatever, it's that like
it's the hello human resources meme.
Yeah, exactly. There is just some guys like people are happy to talk to him.
Well, Haley Stevens was that charismatic, but the voters made the wrong decision because they're stupid.
I see Israel in my dreams.
He doesn't know the answer to that question.
Israel,
I mean, come on.
me in my dreams.
Yeah.
Glad we're on the same
Slogans
page
sound
there.
great, but we know nothing is really free. And also, even if you tax the blank out of the billionaires, like that one far left socialist said, it's still not going to be enough to cover this. Government-run socialized health care would mean a massive new tax burden on just about everybody. Estimates put the increase from $1.5 trillion to more than $4 trillion, taking the middle ground of those estimates equates to roughly 15 to 21,000 per tax return every year. Nationalized health care would also reduce employer contributions.
They're so nasty. One, the concept of a moral hazard is never mentioned. She didn't even bring up moral hazard because that's like old school Republicanism, but the concept of a moral hazard is never mentioned when it comes to unlimited corporate welfare. And two, on that same exact same wavelength, they never talk about how many billions we are burning to fight Israel's war against Iran.
Well, this is though where it's like, I think in this case too, it's like, do I trust the Mercatus and Paragon Institute? I know what Mercatus is. I don't know what the Paragon Institute is. And their presentation of this, like, no, I don't especially do. And also, like, do these expenditures create savings elsewhere that are not accounted for in these particular estimates? Like, I don't, like I trust the estimates that come from the people with whom I'm ideologically sympathetic. Sue me. They typically bear out on the evidence more because that's why I share that disposition. Anyway, point being as well, like, I think that there is just like you're never going to get like a particularly, it's Fox News, man. You ever see Chinatown? Have you seen that movie?
No.
There's a line in it, forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown. Forget it, Hasan, it's Fox News.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And take away choices for family. Remember that stuff that Obama's camp used to say, you can keep your doctor. No, you can't. You absolutely can't, because you can't afford for everybody to keep their doctor under their plan.
Why?
Yeah, this is the largest tax increase we've ever seen in the history of this country that's being proposed now by these socialists. But this is about control. And if you can then take away everything,
the populist counter to this is so easy. And it also automatically makes them look like weirdly technocratic and therefore on the losing side of this argument. You're like, we're burning $1 billion a day.
Yeah, no, that one is simple because it is just like, if you believe that money is this, that like our resources are that finite in this, then it's like, why are we, why is the strait closed?
Yeah, we're burning.
Why is straight close?
We're burning $1 billion a day. Shut the fuck up. We have enough money for healthcare. You just want to make sure that it reroutes back to, corporate pockets, which is, there is truth to that as well. So like the cost saving that the average American will face, instead of paying sky high premiums, they'll be paying a little bit of it as a, let's say, national insurance.
Well, also there's just access that will expand, both on the level of there are people who, if they're not uninsured, like they're insured like I am,
and it's cheaper
with policies that are
it's cheaper overall.
The admin costs are way more efficient. I mean, there's no, I don't know. There's
but that's the problem.
Yeah,
GDP diminishes.
Well, but this is like there's a joke about two economists, and it's like, what? Do you know the one?
Everyone always makes fun of me for using that joke.
It's a good joke.
Look, they're all going, we all know it. The Hasan classic. Two economists walk into the woods. There's a piece of dog shit on the ground. First one says, hey, if you eat that, I'll give you $100. They keep walking. Second economist sees a piece of dog shit, says, hey, if you eat that dog shit, I'll give you $100. Second economist says, sure. Eats it, gives the $100 back. They keep walking. They go, why do we do this? The economist says, hey,
don't feel so bad.
We just increased the GDP by $200. $200 of economic activity, baby.
No, it's a great joke. I love it.
Party, let's be clear, that says if you've got a really nice house, we don't think you should be able to have it. New York is dealing with this right now. Yep. If you have a lot of money, we want to take not some of it, Harris, we want to take all of it from you. And we want to take your doctor from you. We want to take your plan from you. We want to take private health care away. You are going to live under our Marxist rule. This is Marxism. It is
so funny because the punitive taxes for like $5 million and above, I think, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't know what to,
I know it's New York City, but like,
I mean, he's just bugging. I don't know what to say. Like what do you? And also, like, it's also the pied-à-terre thing. Like, I'll say this: one of the things about, like, I think Kathy Hochul is one of the better political weather vanes in the country right now. Like, if you want to see where somebody thinks the wind is blowing in the Democratic Party, look at what she's doing. And I'm not saying that she's earnestly convicted on a bunch of stuff, but like, she pays attention to what's going on, and she's made to because of Zoran's success in her state. And so, one of the ones that I point to on this is how she's approached the pied-à-terre tax, which is the fact that the mechanism by which they've gone about revealing how, all the pied-à-terre and everything, like, and evaluating it, they're also digging up all these people who
are tax cheats.
And so there is like there's no world in which like a politician who breathes oxygen, you know what I mean, is gonna run away from the ability to like go at like fat cat tax cheats where like the proof is in the pudding there.
Yeah.
And it's not like
I love that was my favorite. That was my favorite revelation of people being like, wait a minute, I live in New York, and it's like, okay. So you're just not paying New York residency
and it's not
tax.
like it's not a concern of industry as much, right? Like you're not going to get like industry lobbyists like pouring in and so on. Like it's a much like there are reasons that it's like a political issue that somebody like her can get her arms around more than others is what I mean.
Just pissing off like what's his name, Scott Galloway.
Yeah, you're not angry. You're not like taking on like all the landlords, for an example.
Who I personally don't like. So I'm glad that he's getting mad.
Well, he's just mad because his whole thing now is that he's a guy who tells people, like, pay attention to young men. Like, young men need role models.
Yeah, and now young men are saying he's also another one of those guys who's like weirdly very invested in Israel.
I don't. 10 years ago, Scott Galloway was an NYU business school professor of marketing who accurately predicted that Amazon would buy Whole Foods, and then like his media profile blew up. And now I read about like what he thinks about like the crisis of masculinity is. I'm just saying. Doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah, the problem is like he's Mr. young masculinity, but all the young masculine men hate Israel, and he's talked about how the reason why these campuses are like doing. Remember what he said? What he said, they're not enough. That's why young people are not having sex. That's why they're doing these college encampments.
I mean, look, he's most of his insight is pretty self-discrediting, but like I think in this case, a lot of what he seems to offer and the reason that people seem to respond to it, aside from just respecting him for the platform that he already has, is that it's because he is offering a way of like talking about the masculinity crisis that isn't right coded, but is instead like meant to be coded for like MSNBC style people.
Yeah.
Here, it is the Democratic Party. I said this on your show a couple years ago. I believe the Democratic Party is dead. I believe it's been taken over, and they lied to the voters. They say, oh, no, we're Democrats because they didn't think America could handle the word Marxist or communist. But now it's in your face. They're telling you they're going to take your money, they're going to take your businesses, they're going to take your homes, and they're going to tell you that this country is a disaster, so therefore we have to remake it. This is why Democrats like James Carville are terrified. Or as another one put it this way, we quote, we're in mortal danger. I wrote it down. There was a Democratic strategist that said right now the Democratic Party is in mortal danger. Why? Because they understand their party is dead. They are now the Communist Party of America.
Well, Megan Hayes on this very program a couple of blocks ago, earlier this hour. They aren't us. She doesn't claim the socialists as Democrats. It's fascinating. Yet they give them...